What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to talk about what's going on with the overall market right now and break down some very important levels on Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I also want to talk about some very important news that came out over the weekend and how it may affect the markets. Before I say anything about all this news and talk about what's going on, though, let me just mention a few things. I am personally not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo, the link down below, and deposit $100 into the account, you're guaranteed up to 5 free stocks. This offer ends in just about 6 days, so check it out before they run out. Anyways, let's break down what's going on with the market. So, guys, I was very busy yesterday. I had a family emergency, so I was unavailable to record any new videos. But now I just want to talk about something very big that developed. So, unfortunately, we had this new news that came out as Israel was involved in a massive attack, and this was like an attack from many different angles, from airstrikes to a literal invasion that went on during the event. So it was very horrible, it's very disheartening, and it's very, very sad to see anything like this happening. And my thoughts, my heart, it just goes out to anyone that has suffered during times like this. So it's very hard, very sad to have witnessed, but we have to stay strong. And now we have to talk about the effects that this is going to have on the world and the markets. And we're going to see how this develops over time. So, right now, when it comes to news affecting the markets, okay, I want to remind everyone that today is Columbus Day technically, and the bond market is closed. So, because the bond market is closed, the real move, the real reaction for the stock market is going to happen tomorrow to the war and etc. Today, there's going to be some reaction from just equities because equities are open right now, but the bonds market is closed, and that's going to dictate the real move tomorrow. Now, on top of this, I just want to mention that what you should remember about this war is that war in general tends to be positive for the stock market for like the longer term, the medium term. For the short term, there could be a very nuanced reaction, but for the medium to long term, this tends to be more positive for the stock market. You have to remember that it's very important. This could lead to bonds like dropping a little bit as time goes on. All right, so don't forget about that. And what's making all these headlines would be the Israel Hamas war after this insane attack that happened, which was just absolutely horrible. It's nothing anyone wants to see. And the thing to remember about wars like this is that innocent people are the ones that paid the price. They're the ones that paid some of the biggest prices, and it really is just horrendous. Now, there's also news coming out about another UAW strike that has been going on. They're basically partnering with the Volvo Group, I believe, and they're once again going to continue what they're doing as another 3,900 workers rejected an agreement on Sunday and voted to go on strike again. Oil is likely going to surge a bit, and this is expected during periods of war. This could even lead to gas prices going up even more in the U.S. So, with the surge in oil, which is happening so far, it's affecting the markets. But I just want to mention one more thing when it comes to stocks and etc., the dollar is starting to surge a bit. The dollar is getting very, very close to this 107 resistance. I think we're actually at 106.5, and then we're getting close to 107 if we break that. The dollar is about to get a bullish cross in the PPO. If it starts pushing higher, this would turn bearish for the stock market. We have a possible inverse head and shoulders developing. So I want everyone to be very careful with this news that came out. Now, like I said before, wars tend to be positive for the stock market, for the S&P 500, etc., for the medium term, for the longer term. But right now, with the bonds market closed, the market's looking a bit weaker, so the initial reaction could favor the bears a bit more, but it really depends on something very important. So we're going to be watching the market when we open, okay? We're stuck between our 50 and 20 EMA. The 50 EMA is at 427.8. If we break and hold that, there is potential for us to get very close to 430 and start surging to fill this gap. If we fail to break the 50 EMA, we start sinking down. You want to be watching the 20 EMA or 426 as critical support. If that breaks, then this thing is going to be sinking towards 424. And if that ends up failing us once again, then 422 is going to be the next major demand zone. We're going to be watching these levels very carefully. The market is super indecisive. It's going back and forth and back and forth. It's been doing this for many, many hours. So we're going to be watching to see which way it breaks, and that's going to dictate which way we move. Otherwise, we're just stuck between 428-ish to about 426, going back and forth and back and forth. And we will see what the big move is. As for Tesla, Tesla's been trading very flat as well. It's been stuck between this 255 to about 250 6.8 area. There's a bearish cross in the PPO. It's looking a little weak, and we once again have that kind of like a double top like formation. But once again, you always want to be open-minded. If Tesla gets above 257.5 and we hold above it for an extended period of time, there is potential for Tesla to try to get back above 258. If that breaks as well, then 260 is on the table. If Tesla breaks below our support right over here at 254, which is our 50 EMA, we're going to watch Tesla retest 252. And if that fails us, it's going to come all the way down to 250. Now, right now, it's super indecisive. It's going back and forth and back and forth. It's been doing that all day, just like the S&P 500 and SPY. So we're going to be watching to see which way it breaks. Do we break below 254 for a more bearish move? Or do we hold and try to break above 258 to fill this gap? It's just continuing to go back and forth, but there is a bearish cross in the PPO. So at the time of open, there is an increased probability of Tesla selling off a bit, but just to be safe, watch that 254 support because we technically haven't broken it just yet. For Aapl stock, this is looking a little bit flat right now, but it's trying to actually push upwards. So it's looking a little stronger / flat. If Aapl could hold 177, there's potential for it to fill this gap, push all the way up to 177.5 and retest 178. If we manage to hold these levels, and there's more potential for it because it's trying to push a bit. If we're bearish and we see Aapl break below 176 like this, and we fail to hold 176, there's potential for it to come down to 174.77. Aapl is losing some momentum, so there could be a downtrend that's being established. Like it pumps a little bit and comes back down. There's a possibility of that. It depends on the test of the 200 EMA, so watch your 200 EMA very carefully on the 4-hour time frame. For the QQQ, exactly like SPY, it's super indecisive. If we break and hold 362, there's potential for us to fill this gap at 364.6. If we don't break that, we come right back down. You're going to be watching this 360 support. That's going to be very key, 360.26. If that breaks, it's going to come all the way down to these lower levels. Right now, it's very indecisive. It's going back and forth and back and forth, not really picking a direction. So we're going to be watching which way this thing ends up breaking for now. And finally, Nvda is looking a little weaker, but it's trying to bounce off this 20 EMA. So watch 445.8 as critical support. If that breaks, 442.5 is going to be tested, followed by 440. And if 440 breaks, there's going to be more downside coming. As of right now, it's holding these supports. Now, if we break above 450 and we hold 450, I could see this thing filling the gap to 455. As of right now, very indecisive, back and forth price action. Let's see which way it breaks, and that's going to dictate how this thing ends up moving. Now, once again, the dollar is still holding up. Dollar is still looking quite strong. So we're going to be watching to see, can the dollar continue to push up, or does the dollar end up getting a big rejection? As of right now, it's holding up, so we're going to be watching this carefully as it's going to dictate the markets. But for now, the market looks very indecisive. Its reaction has been very indecisive, and we'll see which way it breaks as we have critical support and resistance levels that I just listed. All right, so hopefully this video was helpful. Thank you all so much for listening. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next one in a couple of hours. Thank you, and peace out.